Those dark abandoned buildings, no law and order. There are carefully demarcated areas controlled by rival bands of armed militia fighting over the rubble. Nearly every night there's sniper fire. It sounds like Beirut, but in fact it's America, a creature of state, local, and federal government, the product of bad politics, failed policy, and official neglect. It exists, unseen except by those who live there, a stone's throw away from some of the most valuable real estate in our nation's third largest city. What's it like here? What's the neighborhood like?
Like a bad neighborhood.
Dangerous?
Yes.
Can you tell when somebody's going to shoot?
Yes. They just grab their gun and just start shooting.
10-1 and 10-1, 116-1.
One time they came over this way, and then they saw this lady, she said something to them, and then she had a big hole in her head when they killed her.
They shot her.
I don't know what they did.
Did you see her?
Yes.
How often do you hear gunshots?
Too often.
Johnny Shannon is 10 years old. He lives within walking distance of Chicago's Gold Coast, but it's several worlds away. His home is Cabrini Green, a name at once both saintly and sylvan. It is neither.
When I first came here, it reminded me of Vietnam.
It's been called a city within a city, the most notorious public housing project in America. Dennis Davis patrols it for the Chicago police.
Drive straight through.
Built in the 40s and 50s, it was supposed to provide safe, inexpensive, integrated housing for people trying to save money to buy a house. Today, it's 70 acres of no man's land, void of legitimate enterprise, with its own laws and its own language.
Now, this building is called The Rock.
The Rock?
Yeah, The Rock.
Why do you call it The Rock?
It's like the Rock of Gibraltar. You know, it's there, you can't get to it, and it's the strongest thing in Cabrini. There's normally a sentry. He's standing right there in front of 1150 now.
What's he looking for?
Police. They're selling drugs from the lobby. He'll see us when we make the turn, and if they're dealing, he'll just walk away into the building. And once they get into the building, that's it. We won't find them.
Cabrini is part of the worst public housing system in the country. So bad that 2 years ago, the federal government threatened to take it over. The Chicago Housing Authority doesn't even know who lives in its buildings, but 100,000 people are waiting to get in. The only structure is provided by the gangs, who mark their turf with spray paint and set up sniper posts in high-rise buildings. The working poor Cabrini was designed for have long since fled, leaving the desperate alongside the helpless.
And I don't give a damn how hard you try to teach your kids to walk a straight line. Those game bangers are the role model for these children in this neighborhood.
60% of the households here are headed by single women. Patricia Welch is one of them, trying to raise 3 boys. 2/3 of Cabrini's residents are children.
Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Jesus, the great millstone who rule well, and peace, love, and salutations to the Bayaf Dawadah, the house of David. Alright, which mainly consists of you so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, who indeed make up the 12 tribes of Israel. Alright, that's your biblical nationality, your true identity according to the scriptures that was stripped and robbed from you by Esau Edom, which is the so-called white man, aka the devil that the Bible speaks of. Alright, your adversary, your foe. Okay? So, Lord willing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, this is edifying. Alright, a people cursed, a cursed people, as you see on the title. Alright, and just, just going through the YouTube, alright, getting lost, going down that rabbit hole and getting lost in different shows. The spirit jumped on me to do a response video to this show, and as I watch it, and all I could think about is, just plain and simple, of people curse. And a lot of times people think of curse, they think of some old abracadabra, Miska, Muska, Mickey Mouse, and magic wand, And really what a curse is the opposite of a blessing. As you see in this video, it should be clear as day, especially now that we're living in the last days, that to live like this is indeed a curse. To be relegated to these slums and these neighborhoods and these project buildings that are 40 to 50 feet tall, some odd miles wide, with a bunch of poor indigent people stuffed inside, all right, with drugs and alcoholism and gangs and nothing but poverty with no hope, all right, no jobs. And when I say jobs, I'm talking about the ability to sustain yourself. The brother DeBar says something, and it's an old saying, you could give a guy a fish and feed him for a day, or you could teach him how to fish and he could feed himself for a lifetime. It's a curse to have to be able to rely on Esau, Edom, all right? To rely on the government, to rely on a nation, any other nation for that matter, not to mention a nation that can't stand you. So I want to read a few precepts going back to the basics of this truth. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 1, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth. So it's plain, right? If we was to obey our power, obey the Most High, listen to his son Yahweh Shai, that angel that was set before him, and observe, all right, and do, all right, the laws, and live by the law, taking commandments of the scriptures, that the Heavenly Father will put us up above high upon all people, all right. And I'm gonna name some of the blessings that it goes into. Verse 2: and all these blessings shall come upon thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. All right. Now these are the blessings that and these are what makes up a nation. These are things that makes a nation great, right? When you're blessed in a city, you have the best of the best. You prosper, right? Or when you're in the field, you're in the country, you have farms. Your crops are growing great. You have barter and trade amongst one another. You're living in harmonious with one another, utopia. All right, your cattle, because that's your real wealth, contrary to popular belief. Your wealth is depicted by your cattle, all right, the cows that you have, because that's your meats, all right, that's your milk, that's your beef, that's your steak, your sheep, that's your lamb, that's your clothing, the land, all right, that's you able to cut down trees, you're able to build build houses. With the cotton, you're able to build clothes. So those are the natural things to sustain you. But when you're given these concrete jungles, right? That's a curse. That's a curse in a system set up in play, whereas the women would be forced to kick the dad out the house, all right, on paper, in order to obtain these subsidies. Right, in order to obtain housing, in order to obtain welfare, all right, WIC, food stamps, and etc., welfare cash, and etc., Section 8, you're in turn, what you're doing is you're separating the families, and you're creating this monster of a people, and then, behold, this is what you see, and this is psychological warfare of generations that grow up like this, and you see what you see today. All right, this process of what you see today was a process of Esau through generations after generations of nothing but hell and psychological, mental, and emotional warfare that he's put on our people. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we are rising up out of the dust. All right, let me read a couple more. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Blessed, verse 5, blessed shall be the basket of thy store. And this is the reason why you see Jake could get a store, but Jake could start a business, but it always fail because going back to these blessings and these curses. And right now we're living in the time in which Yasha'Allah, our people, you so-called blacks, Native Americans, you're cursed. To have another man come upon your land and take it over, that's a curse. All right. Blessed shall thou be when thou come in, and blessed shall thou be when thou go out. As you see this debate on your screen, you see these kids. These kids are cursed because they're born into poverty. They're basically born hopeless. You know, they're subjected to war. Anybody else will be treated as a PSD, all right, post-traumatic stress, and will be treated as such, whereas we are not treated like that. And now this little boy, he was forced to see somebody die. Now, how you think he's going to grow up when he gets older? He may grow up to be heartless. He may grow up to be ruthless. All right? You can't shame him for that. You can't fault him because he's what they call a product of his environment. All right? Esau understands this perfectly well. He understands this clearly. Okay? It says, verse 7, the Lord will cause thy enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten. Okay, it's like here. Verse 6, blessed shall thou be when thou comest in, and blessed will thou be when thou goest out. And the Lord that caused thy enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before these 7 ways. So, you know, we will conquer our enemies. And you've seen at the time of King David, when King David was in power, that's the type of power that we had. When people would come up against us, all right, they would get slaughtered. And these other nations, as you could read in the Apocrypha, they knew this, so they were forced to put stumbling blocks in front of our people, so that our people will continue to go astray. They feed you pork. They push this homosexual agenda. Anything that transgressed the law, they made it cool by way of rappers, Boys in the Hood movies and promotion and radio sound waves and TV shows. All right, they made it cool. They made it cool to be a gangbanger, to be a drug dealer, because they know that that's the things that piss our power off. All right, and in order for them to keep us in subjection, they have to pay these rappers millions and millions of dollars to sell out, to promote sipping lean and fuck bitches get money, or fuck niggas get money, excuse my mouth, but just to promote things that are just not conducive to us being a nation. I'm going to jump down to verse 28. Matter of fact, I'm going to jump down to verse 15. It says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
What's hell?
You see that?
Why hell?
Because you don't know if a bullet gonna come through your window. You don't know why you're going to the store. If you're gonna be shot at, or your children be hurt in any kind of way.
When was the last time there was shooting here?
Well, my building last night.
Do you think your mother worries about you living here?
Yes,
Why?
because when you go outside, there's bad things happening out there.
What's the closest you ever come to?
Yes,
Store, if you're gonna be shot at.
Let me see this.
Raised 3 boys. 2/3 of citizens are children. What's it like living here?
Hell.
She said it's hell, right?
Why hell?
Because you don't know if a bullet gonna come through your window. You don't know why you're going to the store. If you're gonna be shot at.
This is Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 22. It says, for death is come up into our windows, and has entered into our places, to cut off the children from without, and the young men from the streets. All right, this is clearly a curse that is upon our people. You know, I know of stories of bullets going through the windows and hitting little children while they sleep. All right, this was a prophecy that's being fulfilled as we speak now, pursuant to who? The children of Israel. And this proves that we are the children of Israel because of our curses. So when they look upon our downfall and they laugh at our calamities, they say, look at what's happening in Chicago. Look at the hoods. Everywhere Jake goes, everywhere black goes, they go to neighborhood. Everywhere they go, it turns into poverty. It turns into shit. So they can't run a business. They can't do this. It's because we're the children of Israel, and we broke the laws and commandments. And this is only proof that we are those people. All right, let me go back to this real quick, and then I'm gonna close it out. You know, I just wanted to go basic on read some basic scriptures. You know, going back to the milk of this Deuteronomy to just to prove that, look, man, no other people are going through what we're going through. You know, the Moabites. One of the curses. Let me keep reading. One of the curses is, you know, looking at your brother with hatred, and that's something that Jake does. When you walk in the neighborhood, you know, Jake will look at you. They'll mean mug you. They'll look at you with the screw face. They'll ask you what you're looking at. That's a curse that's upon our people. Looking at our brother with hatred, but the so-called Chinese man don't look at his Chinese brother with that hatred. You know, the white man don't do that. The Arab don't do that. You know, they embrace one another as they should. But our people, it's that hatred between one another which proves that we're the children of Israel. It says, "Cursed shall thou be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, and the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all thou settest thy hand unto for to do, thou shalt be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of thy wickedness of thy doings, wherein thou hast forsaken me. For the Lord will make thee make pestilence cleave unto thee, AIDS, Ebola, sickle cell anemia, all right, until he consume thee off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. The Lord shall smite thee with the consumption and fear and inflammation, and with the extreme burning, and the sword, and the blasting, with the mildew, and they shall pursue you into thou perish. Diseases, you know, gonorrhea, herpes, all right, just all these things that have come upon it. Hey, we the sickest nation on high blood pressure, all right, and the heavens that is over thee, thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. So we'll be in a lose-lose situation no matter what, and that's how you are in this world, man. You're always in a lose-lose situation. There's a thing amongst us. If it ain't one thing, it's another. All right. The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust, and from the heaven it shall come down upon thee until thou shalt be destroyed. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemies, and thou shalt not go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed unto the kingdoms of the earth. And this is what happened to us. We were removed into the kingdoms of the earth on the 4 winds. But when we try to go out one way, we get smitten. When you put your hands up, you still get shoot. You get shot down by the police. When you try to run, you still get shot down by the police. All right. When you ain't dodging the police, you dodging your own brother. All right. When you ain't dodging your own brother and your own tribesmen, you may be dodging the northern kingdom. You got in LA, you got the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom beefing with each other like they're enemies, as if they should be beefing with the so-called white man. That's a curse upon them. Likewise, also in Chicago, the so-called Puerto Rican versus the Mexican. DDP, Dominicans don't play versus the Latin Kings, which is primarily a so-called Puerto Rican gang. The Haitians and the Dominicans, all right, the Levites and the Simeonites, all right, they're brethren on the same island, but they're fighting one another. Okay. Verse 27, the Lord shall smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emeralds, and in the scab, with the itch, therefore thou could not be healed. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And that's why our people are crazy. You see them on the streets, they're all bugged out, they're walking around, they're talking to themselves, they have no sense of direction. All right, they're blindness, they don't know if they're coming, if they're going. Like these people, look at this.
Or your children be hurt in any kind of way.
When was the last time they were shooting here?
Well, it was my building last night.
Do you think your mother worries about you living here?
Yes.
Why?
You know, these are our children, right? These are our little boys. These are our little nephews. All right, that you know, our people are through, man. We're finished. You got to throw in a towel and pray to Yahweh Hashem Yahshua and say, you know, please deliver us, send salvation for us, because the salvation that we need and that we seek for is not of this world, because the United Nations don't give a fuck about us. Excuse my mouth. All right, the UN don't care about us. The NAACP don't care about us. Farrakhan's filthy rich. He don't give a damn about us. All right, Donald Trump he don't care. The Rothschilds, who? Name anybody. Ain't nobody talking about the woes of our people. Ain't nobody talking about justice for our people, or the true the healing of our people, right? But the men of the Lord. Nobody's speaking the truth. The ugly, and this is the ugly truth, that we're a cursed people. Thou shalt grope at noonday as a blind gropeth in darkness. Thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled forevermore, and no man shall save thee. And we are oppressed forever. This is oppression, man. Right? This is complete oppression. To live like this is complete oppression, man. This is being oppressed. This is being held back. This is systematically being held back. Look at these people. Look at these people being held back by a government, all right, that that we're fresh off of slavery, that put us in this predicament, that gave us no healing medicine. They didn't bury these dead bodies, man. It says, and spoil forevermore, and no man shall save thee. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build the house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant the vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes. So all that work that we do, all right, all that building, all them construction jobs that you get, you may work construction your whole life, and you may not even own a house. So you worked on houses your whole life, but you've never actually owned a house for yourself. You may have been a farmer your whole life, and you've never owned land. All right, that's slavery to you. That's a curse. All right, so this more on this, more on the book of Deuteronomy. This show could go on forever, but I just wanted to do that briefly, real quick, to put out that information, just to see the roots, and just to see put that vibration out there, man. That our people are cursed people. This has happened not because Esau, Edom, a so-called white man, is stronger than us or smarter than us. Simply, this was the work of the Heavenly Father. This was what the Heavenly Father said. We didn't obey His laws, statutes, and commandments, so He put these people to rule over us. And once we come back, we're going to be blessed on high, and we're going to go back to our natural state. And this is what's happening. We're going to go back to our natural state, which is to be kings, rulers, judges, and princes over the whole earth, man. To be that great people like we desire to be. All right? With that, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of GMS, the great millstone, who rule well, and peace, love, and salutations to the house of David. Shalom.